Hi dear students, hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to study the fourth chapter in the geography textbook named Air. In this image, you will be able to see the composition of atmosphere. In our atmosphere, there are plenty of gases there like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide and so on. The air that we take in is a mixture of many gases. When we inhale, it's not just oxygen that we are inhaling. There are plenty of other gases too. So now we are going to study about the three main gases which are there in our air or atmosphere. Nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and we then while exhale it. Nitrogen is abundant in our nature and it's the most plentiful gas in the air. And whenever we inhale, whenever we breathe, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and we exhale it back. Plants need nitrogen for their survival. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of some plants take nitrogen from the air and change its form in which is useful for the plants. The plants can't use nitrogen in the direct form. So the bacteria that live in the soil and also in the roots of these plants take nitrogen from the air and convert it into form which is useful for the plants. The second one is oxygen. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and other animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. For our breathing purpose, as you may all know that oxygen is used. Not just us, all the animals use oxygen for breathing. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. If we cut trees, the balance will be get disturbed because there is an equilibrium or a balance in our society, in our atmosphere, which is made by these plants. And if we cut enormous amounts of plants and trees, the amount of oxygen produces will be get disturbed. The third gas that we are going to deal here is CO2 or carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is an important gas. Plants use it to make food and release oxygen. There is a balance in the emission of carbon by living beings and the use of it by plants. But burning of fuels and cutting of trees leads to the excess amount of carbon emission in atmosphere, which results in extreme climatic and weather changes. As you may all know that there are plenty much drastic changes that is occurring in our world due to the excess amount of carbon emission here. And the main reason for all this is the excessive burning of fuels, the cutting of trees, and so on. So now we are going to study the structure of the atmosphere that we all live in. Our atmosphere is divided into five layers. The layer that we live in are called as troposphere. It is the most important layer. Its average height is up to 13 kilometers. The air we breathe, the rain, the fog, the hailstorm, everything that we see here is in the troposphere. The next, just above troposphere, there lies the stratosphere. Its height extends up to about 50 kilometers. There will not be there will be many much clouds, and in this area, the aeroplanes can fly freely. And the ozone layer that we have already studied in the previous chapters lies here. The next one the third one is mesosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 kilometers. The third layer, mesosphere, extends its height up to the layer of 80 kilometers. Meteorites burn up in this layer on entering the space. If any meteorites come from the space to our Earth, those things will be getting burned in this space. The third most layer is the fourth most layer is known as thermosphere. In this, the temperature rises rapidly with increasing height. While the height increases, the temperature will be increasing the same way. And its height extends between 80 to 400 kilometers. And this is one of the most important sphere where radio waves. Radio waves are transmitted from Earth, and those radio waves are reflected back to the Earth by this layer. The last layer that we are going to see, and in this image you will be able to see the Earth, the first layer troposphere, the second one stratosphere, third meso, the fourth thermo, and the last one exosphere. Exosphere, which is the uppermost layer, has a very thin air where gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. In this image, you will be able to see the troposphere. There is the normal atmosphere where clouds are here, rain is there, our Earth is there. In the next layer, we will be able to see the ozone layer where stratosphere is there. The normal jet planes, normal aeroplanes, and all these things will be there. Whenever we watches a news, there will be weather forecast. Somebody is asking you what is the weather in your place and what will be your reply. It's normally in a winter day there is a chance to the arrival of rain, or even at the midday there will be the chances of heavy sunlight there. So there is a difference between weather and climate. Weather is the hour to hour daily condition of the atmosphere. Suppose think that the time that we I am speaking with you, the weather is almost cold in nature. And if someone asks me about the weather in my place, I'll be saying the temperature, or elsewise the weather, or the exact temperature or the weather that now I am living in. And the next topic is climate. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. Suppose today there will be rain, tomorrow there will be sunlight, and by day to day there is a chance to change in weather. The average weather condition of a place for a longer period of time is known as climate. The average weather condition of a place for a longer period of time. When some people ask you what is the climate in your place, you will be saying about the climate, the weather that is staying there for months. Winter, summer, autumn, these seasons. Or we can even compare those with the season itself. These seasons of the uh, weather of a certain place which lasts for longer period is known as climate. The next topic that we are going to study is temperature. The degree of coldness or hotness of the air is known as temperature. When I am talking to you, the temperature in my area is 16 degrees Celsius, and it varies from place to place to up to the height of that place, up to this how that place lies across the sea level or higher than that. It depends upon many things, and the degree, the how we calculate the degree of coldness or hotness of the air is known as temperature. Important factor that influence the distribution of temperature is known as insolation. Important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is known as insolation. Insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by Earth. The amount of energy or the solar rays that is getting into the Earth which is intercepted is known as insolation. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. Uh, so that's why polar regions are covered with ice. So already said that in the equator area, which is almost a tropical areas, the amount of the insolation or the solar energy received or got or intercepted will be higher, and those places will be witnessing more heat, while going to the extreme polar regions, the both southern and northern to the polar regions, there will be less amount of solar energy will be intercepted, and that's why all these Arctic and Antarctic regions, poles, north poles and south poles are completely covered with ice. So after dealing with climate, weather, atmosphere and so on, now we are going to study about air pressure. Air pressure is the pressure exerted by weight of air on Earth's surface. The weight of the air which is exerted or given upon the Earth's surface is known as air pressure. Air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Then, if the place is normal to the level to the sea level, and those places will be witnessing more air pressure, while it decreases by the advent of more and more height phases. The air always moves from high pressure area to low pressure areas. This point is very important because when we study about wind, this topic we are going to deal with will be told later there. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. So now we are going to deal with the topic wind. You might have seen wind in your life because when you can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. By the arrival of air in a better or the powerful manner itself is called as wind. Theoretically speaking, movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure areas is called as wind. There are three types of wind that we are going to study here. First one is permanent wind. The trade winds, the westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. These type of winds throughout a year that will be blowing in a particular place and also in a particular direction. Every year some places in our earth will be at an exact time will be witnessing wind there. These types of winds, as the word itself denotes, is known as permanent wind. So the second type of wind is known as seasonal wind. As literally the word itself means that it depends upon the seasons. These winds change their direction in different seasons. If a climate is there, if a season is changed there, monsoon is there, winter is there. If a winter comes in these northeast areas, there will be a different type of wind also arriving with the arrival of the climate, the season. Same way, seasonal wind, as the word itself means, wind which is blown at times of certain seasons are called as seasonal wind. These winds change their direction in different seasons. The winds that blows upon of different directions at different seasons are called as seasonal winds. The last wind is called as local winds. These blow only during a particular period of the day or year in a small area. Normally we can see these types of winds in seas, oceans and seashores and all these places. These blow only during a particular period of the day or year in a small area. Example for these are land breeze and sea breeze. After reading the chapter and going through the video well, in the 26th page of your textbook, there is an image of three types of rainfalls. You have to make a note on that. Okay. So the last topic that we are going to deal here is moisture. Moisture. When the water evaporates from land and different water bodies, if it is hot there, if it is excess sunlight there, water will be evaporating or going away from land and also from different water bodies like wells, lakes, seas and so on. It becomes these types of water which is evaporate becomes water vapor. So moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. This amount of water vapor makes a content of water there, and that water is called as moisture. And that moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. If the air is full of vapor, we call it a humid day. Suppose when we went outside and we will be able to see a air, the air which is fully engulfed with so much of vapor, water vapor, then we can call it as a humid day. And the importance of those days are, on such days, clothes take longer days to dry. Normally, in a sunny day, we will be able to dry all the things, including our dresses, clothes, and all, in a fraction of hours itself. And on those humid days, we won't be able to do that in such a ease. When water vapor rises, it starts cooling. Water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. Whenever this water vapor rises, and there is no such temperature there, and it starts cooling, those water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. All these water vapors that is evaporated from the earth and reached there will be getting there, and it goes condenses, and those that condensed water vapor becomes small droplets of water. The clouds that we see, we will be able to see whenever a sunny day, we will be able to see a lot of clouds there, and those clouds which we see are such masses of water droplets. It's fully engulfed with water in it. Okay. And these droplets of water became too heavy if the more vapor is went there by the evaporation, and this becomes more heavy by the arrival of more and more droplets of water. There they come down as precipitation. And these precipitations or small droplets of water that comes to the earth in liquid form is known as rain. I have already assigned you to write about three types of rain, which is already written in our textbook. Okay, so go through the textbook well. If you encounter any sort of doubt uh, regarding the chapter, please feel free to ask. And thank you for watching.